Now, since the emergence of information and communication technology, businesses have continued to explore just how best to utilize and leverage on the unlimited potentials of the ICT to drive sustainable growth and also improve quality of their services. With the presence of e-commerce service as well as the introduction of e-payment systems, there have been quite an increase in the delivery of goods and services, making the logistics industry in Nigeria to experience quite a rapid growth and foreign direct investments. The importance of postal services in the socio-economic development space cannot be overemphasized in Nigeria, as disruptions caused by technological advancement have been impacting the people and the economy. Well, earlier today, I had a chat with the Postmaster General and the Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria's Postal Service, NIPOST, Ismail Adewusi. And in this interview with NIPOST Postmaster General, we started off with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and how this has also redefined the operation of NIPOST.
Working very hard with many of the agencies, both within our ministry and outside our ministry. You mentioned NASDA. NASDA is the National Aerospace Research Development Agency. We signed a memorandum with them, an MOU with that agency, because we believe that they own the satellite that will assist the work of our postcode system that we are developing. And because this age and this time and age, you don't need to start doing physical count or moving from one street to another before you capture, by the use of a satellite, you can capture the entire Abuja within a matter of minutes. And so we are leveraging on that technology. We have also moved very swiftly, working with NIMC, that's the National Identity Management Commission. We are working with Federal Road Safety. We are working with immigration. We are working with so all of these agencies want the post office, the postal service, to operate like a one-stop shop where e-government services can be easily delivered in the local government and the various communities. So those are very, very critical things that you will begin to see the postal service doing as we move on. And that is, and we've received far-reaching cooperation by most of the agencies. Because this thing is a symbiotic relationship, and it's all in the interest of our nation. And so we've not had any serious problem working with any of the agencies, as it were. The truth is that funding will remain a problem, particularly for an agency of NIPOST stature that has not been on the federal budget for more than 22 years now. And so because of that, that has affected the infrastructures that we have. Facilities are in very bad shape, and it's just because funding has been an issue. And we need to praise the government under the leadership of Mr. President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, that has given that support to commercialize some of our operations. And that is why the whole idea of NIPOST being commercialized, being unbundled, having companies that will run professionally on a commercial basis have been floated. Because if we don't do that and we begin to wait for the federal government to support us on budget, then we probably will never get to the promised land. But with what is happening now, and with the support that we have received, and with the floating of those companies, we believe that we can now even charge competitive rates. It is because as a postal service operator, because we're a public postal service operator, we are duty bound to provide service at subsidized rates. And that is why if you are sending a letter from Lagos to Maiduguri with 50 naira postage stamp, that letter must be delivered. And there is no way that is sustainable under what we're seeing. And so all these private operators, they are making all the money. Meanwhile, we have the reach, we have the expertise, we have a very fantastic workforce with very good knowledge about how things can be done, well trained, and so we believe that the last mile that we just need to cross now is the commercialization. Once this drive to commercialize becomes operational, NIPOS will become a very formidable force to reckon with, even among postal operators around the world.
And also consolidating an efforts to spur up development, we look at projections as well as forecasts for the agency as we move into the post-COVID-19 era.
Members of the Universal Postal Union, 192 members strong union, were affected. And to the extent that many of the operators actually declared a force majeure because it involved the closure of the airspaces of all member nations. And the Nigerian Postal Service, our operation, is 60% based on inbound and outbound of mails from in and out of Nigeria. And you could now see that this has really affected us, and even locally. The limited mails that we were meant to be moving was also affected because of the closure of many of the states as a result of the effect of the pandemic, which led to the shutdown of movement across the country. So it has really badly affected our operation, and we had to continue to struggle to keep operation going. Even if you wanted to push things out, nobody was willing to drop any mails or parcels to anybody because people were all shut down in their various homes. So I think it's a very serious issue. It has affected revenue for the current year as well, because I think it's a very serious issue. From the look of things, we hope that even though in Africa we have been fairly lucky because the impact of the pandemic is not as serious as it is in the West and the US, Europe and the rest, but we believe that all things being equal, by the middle of next year things will have fairly normalized, given the recent news about the discovery of a vaccine, which is expected to further assist in all the effects, in all these ramifications. So I think things will get better once the vaccine begins to get to the needy. At least it will reduce all this shutdown agitation across major economies of the world. Yeah. The real issue here is the fact that everybody agrees that the postal service has been badly affected by the disruptive technologies of the internet and the like. Everybody agrees. All postal operators around the world are affected the same way. And so for Nigerian Postal Service, it is to now begin to think out of the box. Our traditional products, which has to do with selling postage stamps to move letters and parcels from one place to another, is no longer attractive because most people don't even write letters anymore. You discover today that it is easier to pick your phone, call somebody directly, or even send a WhatsApp message which gets instantly delivered rather than writing letters and the like. But what we have also discovered is that there are so many other alternatives that postal operators have adopted in the face of dwindling revenue arising from the extinction of letter writings and the rest. And we are lucky to have a very responsive Universal Postal Union, the UPU, which has continued to provide leadership on what transformation the postal services across the world should be doing in order to stay afloat of all the present problems bedeviling the sector. Technology is playing a very, very strong role. Even though this is the same technology that has affected our traditional business, we are also leveraging on technology, and e-commerce and several other platforms, e-government platform, to keep our business going. And this has actually helped in no small way to galvanize our business and to expand our product base, and this is helpful. I like to say that the Nigerian Postal Service is also going through a lot of reform. The reform process started even long before I came, but we have made even more progress since I came in. As we speak, we already started the process of unbundling of Nigerian Postal Service into viable commercial entities. Okay? Viable commercial entities. As we speak, 2 companies have been floated. We have floated the property development company. We have also floated the NIPOS Logistics and Transport Company. Of course, we have also applied for a banking license. We want to restore the NIPOS Bank. There used to be a bank when we were growing up, which is known as Federal Savings Bank, which is run by the Postal Service in those days. In fact, we started with Post Office Savings Bank, and later it transformed into Federal Savings Bank before it disappeared. We're trying to bring that banking back to life, because as we speak, in China today, the largest bank in China is owned by the China Post, 800 million strong client base. In several other countries, in Morocco, in France, you see the involvement of the Postal Service in banking operation. And in Nigeria, we still have a large segment of our people, especially in the local areas, that are underbanked, that does not even have access to banking. And so in order to assist the financial inclusion strategy of the government, that is why we are bringing back the Postal Service Bank, which I believe is going to help in bringing a banking service to the people in the rural communities. And so these are some of the new things, that is coming out. Of course, all of this will leverage on technology. Don't forget also that NIPOS is operating under the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. And so we're going to continue to run a digital post that will enhance our operation using the digital age and technology.
And wrapping up the conversation, he also spoke about measures NIPOS has taken on revenue generation and its relationship with other ministries.
The truth is that the Postal Service has the mandate to develop what we call the postcode. The postcode, as we know, is an essential part of the global national addressing system. The national addressing system, there is a council, the National Council on Addressing, and the chairman of that council is the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Shibaju. And this council consists of many governors, ministers, and all security agencies that are in that council. And the whole idea is that we need an effective addressing system in Nigeria. At the moment, we have a long way to go, and as soon as we are able to achieve that alone, it's going to resolve most of the security challenges that we face, and that is why we are poised, we are determined, we have started work as the Nigerian Postal Service to work with all the other relevant agencies of government under the national addressing system to ensure that we can capture every home under the digital addressing system in such a manner that, like it happens in the rest of the world, once you have you have a postcode assigned uniquely to a house, then you already know where the address is, and you don't even need to ask anybody before you locate your way to that kind of address. So that is where we are. And work has reached advanced stage, and I can assure you that by the time we enter the new year, I mean, we will have gone far. The truth is that the addressing itself is a function of the state and the local government, because most of the addresses we are talking about are resident in a state and in a local government, in a ward, as it were. But because of the peculiar nature of the economy of the states, that's why the federal government has taken up this particular assignment, believing that this is very critical for our nation at this particular time. So I can see us moving very swiftly in the new year. Most of the building blocks are being laid as we speak, and of course, as soon as we enter the new year, things will move even faster.
Well, let's now wrap with a chat with Ismail Adewusi, the Postmaster General. It's